What's cracking? What's rolling, YouTube? It's your Low Phantom Low, aka Silk the Lokester, and you're watching Keeping It 3100.
I see you folks clicking up, looking like you tough, acting like you banging now, nigga. Walk around with that flag out your pocket until the real come and asks what you claiming now, nigga. 1, 2, 3, oh shots from a loose cannon and it's blazing through your torso, nigga. 1, 2, 3, oh shots from a loose cannon and it's blazing through your doors now, nigga.
Yeah, nigga, that locust back. Come to your section, them shells rat-a-tat-tat. Cause what you banging, what you claim, you know what's up. If a person got that dagger exposing your fucking guts. Yeah, that blue been in me. Free my big cousin, cuz like me. Our gang's different, but we both bleed blue. Heart pump, no Kool-Aid, them shots come through. I stay true blue, been true to that blue. Been true to the cause, so what about you?
For all those new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. For everybody else, let's get into it. So today's topic is a video that just came out of OG Gumby from Hoover on No Jumper. Now, there was a lot of things that was said in that interview, and this is the first time, to my knowledge, Hoover's coming on to that podcast. But what I will say is that they making that shit known. They not entertaining that shit that Adam 22's been doing lately with, you know what I'm saying, our culture and all that. With them niggas, they came on the stage and told him straight up what he's doing is wrong. He's like antagonizing and instigating for a lot of bullshit to happen and all that. You know what I'm saying? They came on that platform, not playing no games, not entertaining the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? OG Gumby made that shit known and even brought his nephew on the platform. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of interesting shit was said. Like, for one thing, about Black 100 really from the neighborhood. Now, me personally, I wouldn't say he's from neighborhood, because after all, he is a Paru blood and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? What I will say, though, is that he does a lot of business with the neighborhood Crips, specifically the 60s and all that shit, because, you know, he always has 60s in his mouth and all that shit. Not to mention the 60s did fuck his wife and all that, so, I mean, you know, but when it comes to neighborhood Crips, it's always the 60s. So I would say he does a lot of business with the 6-0s and all that shit, you know. So I wouldn't say he's neighborhood, because he's not our kind, you know what I'm saying? He's not cut from the blue cloth. He's cut from that red cloth. You would think burgundy, but he even mentioned it in a Clubhouse segment that his set is unorthodox, which means they got their own program. He mentioned 4 sets. He said 5 Deuce Hoover, because they, at the time, were the only ones that were crippin'. Now, from, you know, what we heard, 107 is back being crippin' and all that shit. So, number 2, he either said 118 or 190 East Coast, because they blocking. My set, Harlem's, because we just rolling, we ain't neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, we only push rolling. And then his set, Pacoima, Paru, Bloods, because they really Bloods. They not straight up Parus like the Compton Parus. They Paru Bloods, so they rock the red, not the burgundy. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that situation where they say, not every blood is a Paru, but every Paru is a blood, or some shit like that. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Some shit like that, you know. But whatever the case is. So, that being said, he's cut from that cloth, not our cloth. But yeah, he does a lot of business with the 60s and shit. You know, even mentions about, oh, back in the day, he used to give 60s guns and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like a whole bunch of shit, you know. And then He even tried to get into Fody's business, with Faux Extra and all that. Now, even though I'm a Harlem, I will say this. A lot of shit that OG Gumby said when he was like, even though Faux Extra is from an enemigo hood to the Hoovers, he did not make fun of that man when his hand got blown up from the fireworks and all that. Because I even said that shit too. I even said in a video, just in general, you do not, even if it's your worst enemy or whatever, you do not make fun of another man when he's already incapable of defending himself physically or in any way. And in his case, Faux Extra's case, it was physical because he blew his hand. It could be your worst enemy and you could wish the worst thing, but that's not what a real man does. You know what I'm saying? And we live by certain codes and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? It's honor. I know a lot of you civilian motherfuckers is going to get on here saying, there's no honor amongst thieves and criminals. Well, I mean, you guys are not in our world. You guys have your own world and all that shit. We have ours. So stay out of our world business and all that shit if you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just certain things that you guys will never understand when it comes to us and how we see things and vice versa. To be honest with you, I never really understood the civilian life and all this shit. Ever since I was a kid, like, that shit just didn't align and resonate with me, to be honest with you. So, it is what it is. Like my shirt said, it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, he laid down the law. OG Gumby laid down the law on Adam 22, pressed the line on him. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this, Adam 22 is a really disrespectful motherfucker, because if you watch that interview, there were times where he was like, as if he's not even paying, like when someone's talking, if you have a host, if you have a guest on your show and they talking, you're supposed to give them their undivided attention. You're supposed to give your undivided attention, whether you like what the person's saying or not. That's what a proper host does. This dude talking about, hey, can you give me some water, this, that, third, like just dodging and shit, like, because he's not feeling what OG Gumpy's saying, which is the truth. But that just goes to show you some people in this world, especially nowadays, just can't face and handle the truth. So, and Adam 22, you know what I'm saying? He's a civilian. He's not a Crip. He's not a Blood. You know what I'm saying? He's not pushing O's. He's not pushing neighbors. He's not anything. He's just a culture vulture, a troll. You know what I'm saying? An instigator. And like I always said, since the very beginning before his podcast took off, he is another Vlad TV. But it took years for niggas to catch on to that shit, but I mean, it be like that sometime. But anyway, and when he was talking about the fights that Faux Extra was talking about behind the county and all, now, I will say this. Everybody takes their L's, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to win every single fight. Not everybody is the knockout king or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Even the knockout king, I believe, has been knocked out a couple times. Even when he has a streak going on, everybody's not invincible, Niggas get their W's, niggas get their L's. It's just the way of life. Sometimes for some, like I noticed with me, I get a win. The next squabble I get into, it's an L. And then the squabble after that, it's a win. The next squabble after that, it's an L. So it's like a pattern for some individuals. It's just something I noticed. But every individual is different. It can go either way. But at the end of the day, as long as you fight back and don't, cop the plea or turn down the fade and all that, that's where it counts. That's what they really looking at, is if you have heart, you know. Now, if you're just a consecutive loser and all this shit, then yeah, that's a problem. But if you got that spirit and you're holding it down, represent, and fight with all your heart, win, lose, or draw, then that's what matters. You know, that's all that matters. You just can't be no punk. That's it. Can't be no bitch. You know, when it comes to the politics, you can't turn the other cheek. If someone addresses it, calls you out for the fade and all this stuff, you gotta be 10 toes solid and ready to throw your dukes up. But then, you know, you have niggas that talk and troll and all this shit, but never want to meet up and all that shit. You know how it goes sometimes. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. At the end of the day, you just gotta keep it 100 or whatever 100 you pushing and all that, all the way. Just like me, I'm keeping it 3100 all the way.
You don't know now what's that I claim? I claim 3-0. You asked what I bang? I bang 3-0 with the A in the middle. Avenues, cuz, but I ain't with the riddles. Keeps it 3100, but people not like me. I see the weird shit going on repeatedly. But I'm a go-getter, I goes and gets. Never a lazy ass nigga, ambitious with my bets. Cross the line, pay the debt. Even with your life, pay the debt. Gotta pay the toll, that's how life rolls. I seen too many plays solid, but they always fold. Had a beating heart, froze that shit cold. Don't give a fuck, I'm in that fucking mode. Seen one side, but now it's the other side. One slick mouth, that life of yours, bye bye.